Welcome to the season finale of Out of the Crypt. For the last 5 weeks, we have investigated a range of cryptids from North America that have fascinated and terrified people for centuries. From Native American legends such as the Thunderbird and the Skinwalker, to myths borrowed from other areas of the world, such as the Loup-garou, these legends are integrated into the culture of the United States. Growing up in the Pacific Northwest, there is no cryptid more integral to the story of this land than Bigfoot. I can still close my eyes and feel the crisp ocean wind coming off the Pacific the way it felt back when I was 10 years old, camping up and down the West Coast. The wind is still the same, but my skin has become calloused and desensitized. Back then, open to the possibilities of the world, I would stay out late watching the stars from the rocky beaches until my sleeping bag and my tent called me to sleep, or the smell of the fire reminded me that marshmallows were being prepared. Walking back from the beach to the campsite could be perilous, especially in bare feet. As I hopped along the path from the beach to where we were staying for the night, I would look for signposts that would show me the way through the darkness. My dad is a surfer, and my mom and I would always bring our boogie boards, so no matter what part of the coast we were on, the campsites all looked about the same, with quick access to the beach. There was always a main site for the campground on the highway, usually with a spot to get a bundle of wood and maybe some ice. Then, across a road or winding back behind the main lot, hidden in the trees, would be the primitive spots. No electrical hookups or concrete slab to put a tent on, just the grass and enough space between the trees to fit a couple of tents and a hammock. Most spots would have their own path heading directly to the beach, and we would find one that was away from the bathrooms. I never remember having trouble finding a place to camp back then. One night, walking back to camp in the dark, I saw something moving behind some trees. The moon was out and the beach was well lit, but the woods that led to the camp were thick and I was having trouble getting my bearings. My breath began to quicken as I realized that the post I was heading towards, the post that I was practically running to as I told myself that there was nothing to be afraid of, was the wrong post. The sign on the post was pointing to the bathrooms. The campsite was back behind me. That was when, in the woods between me and the camp, I heard a sound. A crackling like leaves under a large, heavy foot. Or just a raccoon, I told myself. From the bathrooms, I saw the light shift and I could tell the door had opened and was closing, with a figure coming out. I hoped that it was one of my parents heading back to camp and I could go along with them. No luck. It was one of the other campers I had seen when we drove in. I waved and walked a few steps towards the bathroom, making as if I had meant to walk that way the whole time. When the man had gone past, I turned and watched. He walked into the path, turned on his flashlight, and walked toward the camp, out of sight around some bushes. A flashlight. I scolded myself for always forgetting to bring mine with me. But at least I saw which way he had gone. I walked toward the path, my awareness heightened. The tips of my ears were practically vibrating as I tried to take in every sound, and trying to make no sound of my own. Then there was a low growl and something in the trees shifted. I ran, nearly tripping over a branch as I forgot about the path completely and made a beeline for the camp. I came into camp running, grabbing at my chest, and my mom jumped to her feet, asking me what had happened. I didn't know what to say. I had seen a shape like a man, but too big to be a person. And the noise it had made was unlike anything I had ever heard before. My dad walked over with the hot dogs to put over the fire and listened to the frantic retelling. "I think," he said, "you just had an encounter with a Sasquatch." Not only is the myth of the Bigfoot one of the most popular legends in North America, it is also one of the more believable stories of cryptids. Don't get me wrong, There are enough unexplored spaces on this planet that almost anything could exist out there on the fringes of our reality. We know, without controversy, that there are large creatures living in deep-sea environments that we have barely begun to discover. But some stories are more believable than others. Bigfoot, or the Sasquatch, is described as a large, bipedal hominid that inhabits the forests of North America. Sightings of Sasquatch date back centuries, with Native American tribes having their own names and legends about the creature. The idea that there could be a large, unconfirmed species of primate hiding out of view of the public is not so far-fetched. Especially when we consider all of the things that our government hides from us and all of the lies that we are fed by the modern military media complex. There could be species that have actually been discovered and confirmed by government scientists, but that we aren't aware of because their existence might challenge the accepted history of our own species. For the Native American tribes of the Pacific Northwest, Sasquatch is often seen as a spiritual being, a guardian of the forest with immense strength and wisdom. The name Sasquatch itself comes from the Halkomelem language of the Coast Salish people, meaning wild man of the woods. Skeptics argue that many sightings can be attributed to bears, large primates, or simply the human imagination. They point to the lack of physical evidence, such as bones or DNA, as a significant hurdle to proving Sasquatch's existence. However, supporters of the Sasquatch theory highlight the consistency of witness descriptions, the vast and largely unexplored wilderness areas where sightings occur, and the numerous footprints and hair samples that have been found and analyzed, some of which defy easy explanation. While the scientific community remains skeptical, the sheer volume of reported sightings and the persistence of the legend keep the possibility open. Whether Sasquatch is a flesh-and-blood creature, a spiritual entity, or a figment of our collective imagination, the mystery endures. This is the last episode for this season of Out of the Crypt, but you can catch more episodes of our podcast, The Out There Pod, every Monday on our channel. The Bleep is out there. And we have new content coming soon. Until next time, stay curious and don't believe everything you see.